Good morning. Hand today is pocket tens. So in this hand, we have a limp and then a min raise. The limp, we've got 114 hands on him. He seems to be a loose passive, definitely more aggressive than the hand from yesterday. This player raised first in. We could just do limp first in, 13% from early position. And I believe this would still be technically early position. 2 out of 6 raise first in, 6 out of 16. I think this player is going to be fairly weak because he does limp. So we'll say pocket pairs, maybe something like that. Maybe like ace jack, king jack, queen jack, maybe ace 10. Could be something like that. Maybe with all of the aces. I don't know if I have anything here. No, I didn't take any notes as to what he might be limping with. He might not even have these suited connectors. Could be something more like that. And maybe he doesn't have those big hands. Maybe it's just the offsuits. We'll do that. He's not overly aggressive. So maybe throw in the king queen. That's 11.5. I think that'll work. And then you have a player that is over 15 hands, played 93-20. So he has basically played almost every single hand. I think he is going to be fairly loose. And by loose, we are looking at... Jeez, oh man. Instead of limping, he raised. Let's give him all the aces. Let's give him all of those. Let's take out some of those hands. Maybe he doesn't have that. Maybe something like that. I mean, that's 33.9%. Definitely something wide. He only raised to 2. We don't know a whole lot, but I think the min raise is something that is just looking to build pots. I mean, he could have limped in with like all of those kings. So I kind of think with his limp, he's looking to build a pot in some way. So maybe if we narrow his range down to something like that, where he's got the broadways, suited connectors, pocket pair, and maybe he doesn't have all of these broadways. Maybe he'd raise wider. That might be okay. And then it's on me. What do I do? We're dealing with kind of I'm going to say strange pot. It comes up, but we've got a limper and then a mid raise. As I said, I think we just kind of go with it as we assume that you don't have any players in it. So I think you look at it and you say that min raise isn't really a solid hand. So let's go ahead and raise it. Now we know that he's going to be loose. And, the prospect of them folding, we do have to consider it. So this guy here, look, 70%. This guy's also very, very loose. This guy's at 30%. So only the button, I think, is very loose. So I know if I call, then button's going to probably call. And possibly the big blind, maybe both blinds call. Big blind just because it's one more bet, and people like to do that. So calling, that would be my calling range versus EP. Versus MP, it's a little bit different. So, versus EP, you've got ace queen. I think. So I'm sure that was what I did was I'm calling here because that he was the raiser, and that's going to be my range. But I think that in this situation, we would be reverting to a lot of this. We're probably not going to be raising as much with the smaller pocket pairs. We could probably get rid of these off the one gappers. I think we could get rid of those. I'm not even sure if we have the smaller suited. I think the kind of the range that we're looking for is something that is more like this, where it's heavy on the big cards. Because I think that if we catch one pair, we're more likely to win with those cards versus something like that. Like he doesn't have a lot of those, so I think that would be probably what I would want to do now, if I was if I was thinking and if I was playing my A game. In the meantime, let's just say this is my calling range. I made the call, of course. The button called, no big surprise, and this guy calls. So I think he's gonna call. No matter what. He already put money in. Now, what does this guy do? I think he's not going to be crazy, but he's going to be calling very wide. So 70% is that. His 3-bet. 3-bet from the buttons only 1 out of 27. With 70%, I'm going to get rid of the most likely hands that would 3-bet here. He's not overly aggressive with his 3-bets. We'll say something like that. I think that's probably about right. And then we could say, let's free up some of these. He's probably more likely to call if he's got some straight potential there. Something just super wide. He's just calling to see what he could do. Probably play everyone. All right, so we see a board. You can see that my hand is very tight. Definitely tighter than anyone else here. 70 combos, and the board is 9 of clubs, 8 of hearts, 3 hearts. So 9 of clubs, 8 of hearts, 3 of hearts. We're going to say 3 opponents here. All right, so my equity is at 32%. Now, limper checks, no big surprise. Now, villain 8 bets. His C-bet stats only, right now, out of the small sample, is 1 out of 1 for when he's out of position, 0 out of 1 when he's in position. But he bets, and he bets one big blind. I think this is super weak. I think he's going to be doing it with probably his entire range, but I think we're going to say, I think top pair, over pair, and I'm going to say probably all his pair hands would have probably, maybe not all of these, like 4s, 5s, and 6s. Yeah, 6s and 7s. We're going to leave those out. But definitely top pair plus, I think he would raise much bigger. So what I'm going to do is take those hands out, because I don't see why would you bet one big blind into a 9.5 big blind pot. So I think he's going to be making those. I don't think flush draws. I think we're going to X out the flush draws, the open-ended straight draws, because again, I think why would you be betting that small? We'll leave the gut shots in. We'll leave the overcards. We will take out those combo draws. Let's do that. Take out the combo draws. So I think he is overall just pretty weak based on his bet size. Yeah, he C-bet, but one big blind. He's really weak. So then it comes down to me. What do I do? Um, if you look at this board, we have caller behind me. I'm a caller. This board should hit most callers. So um, I think we're gonna probably be raising here. I don't see justification for just calling here and letting everyone else in. I think we're gonna be betting a lot of our pairs, even pocket pair below the second card. I think we're gonna take a stab and see what happens here. I don't want to just call because on the turn we're gonna be kind of lost. This might be a little too aggressive by betting those pocket pair below the second cards, but I think we go for it. I think the flush draw, open and straight draw bets. I think we can bet with a gut shot with Queen Jack. Definitely, if we've got hearts or clubs, we should be betting those. I think we have a possibility of betting a 2-card backdoor flush draw, but given how many players we have, I don't think that's appropriate. What about these combo draws? Yeah, we should have them. They're all flush draws. They're all flush draws. So I'm gonna say maybe the pocket pair below the second card, maybe not. So more like 50%. I think pocket pair below the second card, maybe we could call, but I think this is one we just missed. This board's likely to hit both of those other opponents as well. I don't think we're going to be getting a lot of folds, so let's just. I don't think we're getting a lot of folds to justify playing the pocket pair below the second card. So I say let's go with this. This is what we're going to raise. I think that's what we should raise. How much should we raise? I think we're going to be we're not going to raise 3 or 4 big blinds. We're going to be raising more like about 10 or so, probably getting closer to pot size bet, something that's going to apply pressure. So I bet 12. I think that's right. That's about a pot size bet. Villain 1 calls. What is he going to call? I don't think he's going to call his middle pair, so his fold to c bet stats are actually reasonable. He's going to have something, so I think the middle pair is probably just going to fold. Top pair maybe folds, but I think he probably just come along once. Maybe the middle pair calls if he's got something else with it. I think he's going to call his flush draw, open and straight draw. He might call his gut shot as well. And then these combo draws. So I think that's going to be his range. He's not just calling with junk, that's for sure. And then villain 5 folds, and villain 8 calls. So once he calls, question is, why did he call? He probably called because he has a pair, and we're gonna get those bottom pairs and just say middle pair, pocket pair below the second pair. That's about it. I think that's all that he can call. So we're gonna go to the turn. My flop range is that. Rating of 45.9%. The combos is 28 combos. I think this is the player that we're going to really need to look at here. So he's got 34.1%. He's got 266. And then we've got a queen of diamonds. And that is okay for my range. 10 jack, queen hits now. So you can see overall I've got 68.5% equity. That just misses everything, so I'm not surprised. I think he's going to probably just check fold. Question is, what about hand 1 or this villain? I think we can apply pressure and get him to fold top pair hands. Queen. Well, no, we can't. I think we apply pressure and he can fold these middle pair hands. Maybe. So it's one of those. If he calls, middle pair, he's probably calling pocket tens. So he's going to be calling a lot, but he's going to be folding those middle pair. And the question is, do we want him to fold those middle pair? About the only, I don't really think so. If we can beat the middle pair, we want him here. So if we bet, is he going to call it? I think the open-ended straight draw might call. Might call for once. Flush draw is definitely going to be calling here. Gut shot might have a reason to fold now. The board did turn a little bit scary, but now you have to think, what did I do this with? So I could have easily had a 10 jack. I could have the hearts. I could have, queen jack, queen 10. So that queen could hit me. So I think we're going to probably need to continue betting here. Would it be worth it? Now, so if we check and he bets, we would have to fold if we're not getting proper odds. And we're getting actually, pot size is actually fairly big. He only has a pot size bet. I have 1.5 times pot size bet. He has us covered. So I think here, straights, this is what we should be doing. Maybe that. 2 pair plus with our flush draw, I think we shove and we apply pressure. A lot of times that he calls, we're going to have premium hands, and he's going to have to guess, do I have a hand or am I bluffing? I do have the possibility of a flush draw. I don't want to do it with a gut shot because I could already be behind. So I think that's going to be my raise, and I'm supposed to shove. I think the other ones probably just needs to check. It seems weak, but I can't justify betting here with the top pair hand. What do I bet? I bet, if I bet half pot 20 and he raises me, I'm just going to have to fold. I already bet big. I would have to continue saying, hey, I like my hand a lot. And that's where I think this is where we go in. He called. If the queen was a different hand, if the queen was, let's say, a 2, I think that's different. But with the queen, it does hit some of these boards and some of these hands that could have called. I bet 30, and I think that leaves me in an awkward situation because now if he raises me, I'm going to have to dump a lot of my hands. So ideally, this should be the range that I should be raising with. And I should be going all in. So that's what I'm going to say, that's the hand. I should be betting larger. And then he calls instead of raising. So what does he call with? Set straights, 2 pairs. I'm going to say top pair. I think 10s, middle pairs probably just folds. I think his flush draws. Let's say he's just that. He folds. So you can see that at this point, I still have the equity because I limited what I was going to play. The board's turning scary. If he has, a 9 or an 8, that's a well, he's in. I'm representing a solid hand. So I get 63% of my range. My combos, I've got 17 combos here. He has 44.3% of his range. And he's got 113 combos. Oops. Let's do this again. And then the river card is the 6 of diamonds, and that definitely doesn't hit. So we got 66 versus 31.4. And it's on us, and at this point it's, how many hands is he gonna fold? 33% probably. I can bet half pot, I'm betting half pot. I need him to fold 33% of the time to show a profit. That would be just kind of break even. And I think what I would do is I would bet both. I think top pair I'm going to probably check call. I think two pair probably going to check call. I think set's probably going to check call. So I think my straights, I got four combos, and then maybe like the nothing hands, the king jack, maybe the middle pair hands we can bet. 42. That's probably what my bluffing range is going to be, and I think that's a triple barrel. So we've got two triple barrel or two hands, the triple barrel, four hands to call, and then probably check call sets and two pairs, because I think with sets it gives the busted flush draw he could bet. Hopefully that maybe I had the flush draw, and we would call. I shoved all in. He only needs 23% equity to call. He calls. What does he call with? I think top pair plus. He shows queen six. He actually shows two pair, and he had the flush draw. So queen six is definitely in his range. I did think it was going to be a flush draw. I think this was just kind of a little bit unfortunate that he caught that two pair. I honestly don't think I think if this was a five of diamonds, I don't think he's gonna call. I've just repped, big hands here, solid hands. Now he obviously didn't believe that I had a straight, or else he would have folded. But I could have had 8-9. Could have had 8-9 for two pair, which I know I didn't have 10 in my range, because I think at this spot, this is where I should have. This is where I dumped it. So the pocket pair below the top card, right there. Yeah, you look at it. I have a gut shot, so I do have a draw. So I mean, I understand that, but at the same time, if he raises, I can't call. I don't think I can call. Tough hand. All right. If you like this hand, look tomorrow for another.